this fact-finding committee is saying that there was no fracture and so on. So what is it with the pictures and the videos that we saw? Because the nurse in question actually appeared in videos and narrated what had happened to her, that indeed there was a fracture. But the fact-finding committee establishes otherwise. But Dennis Wadam Esquire is with me because he's been studying this report. It reveals something very interesting. Dennis, good to have you. Good evening. Thank you, as always, joining us. As always. Great stuff. Now, let's establish who these committee members are.
Well, so we just heard from the chair of the committee. That was Dr. Lawrence Oforibuedu. He is the director in charge of Institutional Care Division of the Ghana Health Service. We also have Mr. Wilfred Ado. He's a member, head of internal audit at the Ministry of Health. Mr. Lawrence Lawson, a member, human resource at the Ministry of Health. We have Mrs. Evelyn Amoako, a member. She is a deputy director, Ministry of Health, NM, Ministry of Health. We have Mr. Abubakar Mutio Rahman, a legal practitioner with the Ministry of Health. Also, Mr. Tony Goodman, Deputy Director, Head of Communications, the Ministry of Health. And then the secretary to this particular committee was Dr. Ebenezer Odro-Mensah. He's a Deputy Director of Clinical Services Development Department at the Ghana Health Service. Mind you, the committee was given some terms of reference, the key things to focus on, 4 items. And one, that they should investigate the circumstances that led to the alleged delay in providing health care to the patient brought under emergency, knowing the circumstances that led to this. The second was that they should investigate the events and factors that escalated into the alleged assault of a health professional. Third was for them to investigate the state of security at the hospital at the time of the incident. And finally, the number of nurses and doctors who were on duty at the time of the incident. So these were the terms of reference given to the committee to work with. Now, having done its work, the committee today presented its findings, and key amongst the findings, in specific response to their terms of reference. So on the question of delay, mind you, the first one that we looked at was for the committee to look at the circumstances that led to the alleged delay. So this finding that we're about to look at is one that answers the question of delay, whether or not there was even a delay in the first place. The committee came to the conclusion that there was no delay in attending to the patient with suspected head injury, who was the reason behind the agitation by Mr. Ralph Williams and the motorbike riders that he had been abandoned. However, it was found that all the diagnostics imaging equipment, that's X-ray, CT scan, MRI, at the emergency department were faulty and non-functional. Thus, all images requested at the emergency department ought to be done outside of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, and this has been a contributory factor to delay in disposition from the initiation of definitive care. So from the from the outset, it says that there was no delay in attending to a patient.
Right.
However, in giving definitive care, there was a delay because of a key thing. That's the X-ray, CT scan, MRI at the emergency department were faulty and non-functional.
Right.
Now, to answer the question of escalating factors, that was terms of reference 2, or item 2, the committee says that although there's video evidence of a verbal or word altercation between Ralph, his colleagues, and staff members of the hospital, we are yet to receive any video evidence or a witness account of the alleged physical altercation or attack. It goes on to say that there is, however, documentation in the Hospital Health Information System management system that the alleged victim, her name is provided here, Miss Rejoice Chocho Bote, reported her injuries on the left hand on the next day, which was on the 18th of August 2025, and was further treated. There was no evidence of fracture to her left wrist or dislocation on her right shoulder joint, as documented in her medical records. She was treated with pain relief, bed rest recommended, and received psychological support from a psychologist.
see.
That is the finding of the committee in respect of escalating factors. When it comes to matters of security, the committee says that security at the emergency department was grossly inadequate at the time of the incident, and that the hospital security arrangement of one private security person for 12-hourly shift at the emergency department is inadequate. However, finally, on the question of number of nurses or doctors who were on duty, the committee also found that the number of staff on duty per shift in the hospital is woefully inadequate. There's a lot more, but these are the findings that answer directly to the terms of reference of the committee, Alfred.
Now, let's flip back to Rejoice Chucho, but what you just indicated, because there's a video which we have of her, right?
Precisely.
That captures the narrative prior to this fact-finding committee's findings. This is it. Let's just take a look at this.
He came in. He wanted us to leave everybody and attend to him. So we explained to him. Ralph. Okay. We explained to him. And then he was like, he won't sit down. And my intern told him to get a card, a hospital card. He said, why should he get a hospital card? Because his name must be in the system. Once his name is tied in the system, it should everything should pop up. And my intern said, no, it's not done like that in Ghana. There he was angry because he was told it's not done that. That is not done in Ghana. And he started insulting us. We don't want Ghana to progress. Then he brought out the phone. But initially, I did a pressure dressing for him. Okay. In his finger that he said it was bleeding. It had bled. Okay. The blood had dried. Okay. So I just had to put a gauze on it so that we reassure him. He wasn't happy about it, so he took off the dressing I did for him. Okay. Then I approached him and I told him that I've done a dressing for you, so be patient. We have 2 trauma cases and other cases too are there. He wants us to leave them. He got angry and he started attacking. Yes, so he did this to me. And then when he went out, I don't know where the guys came from. Most of the health workers saw them earlier, so they had flee. I didn't see them. And then they, from my back to my chest, and then they were just...
Did they push you? Were you pushed? Or what did they do? What did they do to you?
Yes, I was hit. I don't know if it was a fist, a tap. I can't describe the...
But what happened to your hands? Your 2 hands?
Raphael... I don't know. Ralph did this to me. He hit me with the phone with the fist. And I even dodged a couple of the fists. They hit me all over. But right now I have a dislocation on my shoulder. And some headaches and body pains.
Okay. All right, thank you. So that's a Rejoice saying that she actually had at the time a dislocation of her shoulder joint. Yeah. She dodged quite a number of blows.
Yeah, she was hit multiple times.
But the fact-finding committee says what?
There's no evidence of that, be it in video or even witnesses appearing before the committee to testify to that, that she narrated in that video. The committee says that they do not find any evidence of the fracture or the dislocation she speaks about. And yes, that's basically the finding of the committee.
Okay, so where's the disconnect for you? I mean,
well, so you would appreciate that the committee was tasked to look into some allegations of assault, and that assault was specific to the fact that some persons were physically abused.
Yes.
And she narrated in her narration there were claims of her physically being abused. She mentioned that somebody hit her and other people hit her multiple times, that she had a dislocation and all that. However, the committee says, when you put all the evidence that were submitted to the committee together, mind you, they said Ralph presented quite a number of video links, including a live stream, which was available. In fact, that was the live stream that provoked all the conversation for many to get to know what actually happened there. They said they could not see that, and they did not find other witnesses who came to testify that indeed there was any physical assault. However, there was verbal or exchange of words that the committee established. However, the physical contact or physical abuse
and the dislocation
per her medical records, they do not find that. The fracture, they don't find that, and the dislocation, they don't find that, basically.
It's a pretty interesting development there, but anyway, Dennis, appreciate you for this.